Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, tbkc, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. All right. Now, I see a lot of people, and a friend of mine has actually messaged me about this today, talking about the situation with Embark and how accurate they are and different things like that. I will tell you, I have looked at Embark as a tool, a tool that gives us the ability to see some things and maybe do some things. But the one thing that I will tell you is that don't take it as 100%. And one of the reasons why, now if they are identifying certain traits and characteristics of possible diseases or abnormalities, sometimes you can have these markers come up that your dog has maybe the propensity for blindness or different disorders that might cause deafness or different things of that nature. And the gene is actually there, but it could be recessive. And what I mean by that is you can see your dog could run around very, very healthy and it's not showing up at all. But what the test is telling you is that as you breed to other dogs that have this gene, you compound it and you can make it a very, very strong gene, and it starts to show its ugly head. So this is the part where you take those things and you're basing that's genotype, versus phenotype of what you're seeing, and also, and also studying, because this gene, whatever the gene or the abnormality is, it could not have shown itself for 3 or 4 generations, but it's understanding that it's there. That's the way it works. Sometimes some stuff will be there for generation after generation, and it just takes the right combination to be together to compound the gene and make it prevalent and starts to show itself in the phenotype. So, it's a great tool, but you also never get away from using your eyes and using your ability to study the parents and the lineage to see when these genetics have shown themselves. Because I'm just a strong believer that as great as science is, it's nothing better than our common sense and our skill and the stuff that we use to breed the dogs. Science sometimes gets too technical, and when it does that, it can scare you away from doing certain things. Or I've had people who've got the test and they've got markers back that weren't totally perfect, and they're like, man, should I just get rid of the dog? And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, is that a lot of dogs do come back all the way clean, but I've seen dogs that I know their pedigree well, and I know what's behind them, and I've seen 3 or 4 generations of these dogs, not my dogs, by the way, but they were healthy dogs. So at that time I'm telling the owner, like, dude, there's no real reason for you to get rid of these dogs. You have to get to a point to where we use our sensibilities, and just it's just a warning in some cases. Now, if it's presenting itself, if it's starting to present itself, then you have a problem, because now that gene is becoming more dominant, and it's going to start to show its ugly face a lot. And now you're going to pass it on a lot. You're past the point, once it starts showing itself through breedings or whatever, you're past the point to where you can sit back and say, you know what, we can breed away from this, and we can suppress this gene even further and further and continue to make good dogs. No, once it starts to present itself, you got a problem. And it's a longer road. Some people say, well, if it's a flaw, I'll fix the flaw. The thing about the flaw is that if you go in to fix this flaw, you could be talking about 3 or 4 generations before it's out of there. And then even at that, you have to be very, very, manipulative of the genes to make sure that the other dogs that you're using, trying to suppress these genes generation after generation, don't have the same issue, and compound it and makes it come right back around. It's a very, very tough process, and that's one of the reasons why I'm more for elimination. But some dogs are that nice, or the problem is that small, that you can do a better job with it and make and make a better version of that dog. But it takes some skill, and that's why I say, before everybody jumps off and says that they're a breeder, they should do a lot of studying. They should get basically as much mentorship as they can on how to do the right thing with these dogs. Uh, because you can't just throw them away. And most people are not going to throw them away. They're going to sell them to be bred, and it's more of the same genetics being added into the gene pools, we have to get to a point where we really study those pedigrees. And you know, in saying to study a pedigree, most people are not understanding that, but you study every dog in a pedigree. And when I say study the dog, not just his looks, but dig into that dog and find out if that dog had issues, if that dog had any issues, you know what I mean? Even if his temperament, you want to know about his temperament, you want to know about his hips, you want to know about his longevity, you want to know about if he had any breathing issues, if he had this issue or that issue, or was he just a solid all-around dog? You want to know as much as you possibly can about this dog, you know, so that you can make a smart decision as far as putting your program together and how you want to breed it. Studying is about totally knowing, you know, everything. Y'all see, I talk about this in the video shortly, but it's about knowing everything you possibly can about the dogs to help you navigate and make a better decision. So, you know, with that said, hopefully I helped y'all out as much as I can on this one. We will talk about that on Wednesday. Until next time, y'all, much love. God bless. Peace.